It's time for the first trip to the bookstore of 2025, so let's go to Barnes & Noble. Hello, my name is Molly. I am so happy you're here, and if you're new here, I hope you will stick around and subscribe. I post a lot of running, reading, Disney, all the vlogs of all the things that I love, and so I'm so happy you are here, and I'm so excited for this trip to Barnes & Noble. We have been waiting to use all of our Christmas money and the gift cards that we got, all the things until February, because we did a little no-buy month in January. Slightly successful, could have been more successful, but now it's February, so it's time to go to Barnes & Noble. There have been so many new releases already this year that I'm so excited to read, and a lot of books that at the end of last year I was like, these are at the top of my reading list for 2025, and so I think it is time to go and pick some of those books up. But I'm just so excited because I love just wandering around the bookstore and seeing everything that's new, and it's just gonna be so fun to bring y'all along. So let's head to Barnes & Noble. One of the first books that I'm looking for came out at the beginning of January, and if y'all watch my other videos, then you know I love the Disney books, and Hercules is one of my favorite movies, and so one came out specifically about the Muses, and so we're trying to find it now. Bobby, I found it! Bobby, I found it!
The last one. Wow, that's so cool.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
That's so cool. They all look so young. That's so cool.
I'm so excited because the author of this one wrote one of my favorite Twisted Tales, which are some of my favorite, like, in the Disney books world, and so I'm so excited to read another one by her. I just rented this one from the library. It is so good. I'm like 40% of the way in, and there's so many different perspectives, so it is so good. I'm hoping to finish it tonight. Actually, I'll probably have a late night reading because it has completely hooked me. Sarah Adams is one of my favorite authors, so this is another one of the new releases that I've been so looking forward to. I'm pretty sure it's the third in the series, and the one right before this is one of my very favorite books, Practice Makes Perfect, and so I'm so excited about this one, and I feel like it's perfect timing with Valentine's Day coming up too. Okay, I was interested in getting this new Ali Hazelwood book, which usually I prefer like closed door romance books. However, I do really like some of her books. So I was looking up to see the ratings of this, and I saw the description was, the deep end story follows two college athletes with an unconventional sex drive. I think I'm gonna pass on that one. So let me be clear, nothing wrong with liking those type of books, just not my personal cup of tea. However, I am going to be trying something I don't usually try. I follow someone who, this was her first sci-fi book that she read, and she loved it and was like, I recommend it to everyone. So like, oh, maybe I should read it. I don't know, it just sounds really good. I'm not usually a sci-fi person. I feel like I haven't read sci-fi since I read like Ender's Game in 8th grade, and I hated it. So I'm really excited to try this one. I've been really looking forward to it just because the way she described it, I was like, that sounds so good. Essentially, I think the character just like wakes up in space and he's the only one there. Like his crew isn't there anymore. Like no one else is there with him. That's like the extent of what I know, but it sounds intriguing. So sci-fi, here we come. Just read The Naturals and Bad Blood. I rented them both from the library, and really am enjoying them way more than I expected to. It's about a group of teens who essentially are hired by the FBI to help them with cold cases, but then a bunch of active cases start happening, things that they feel very like drawn to for one reason or the other, and it is so good. I'm tempted to buy the whole series because the first one was 5 stars for me and the second was 4.5, but I feel like I need to calm down. They have the third one, and I'm currently on hold, and I think it's going to be like another 6 weeks until I get at the library, but I'm going to try and be patient and wait because I'm like, well,
since I rented the first two, I might as well just wait and rent the third since I'm not going to own the series anyways. But highly recommend the Natural series if you are looking for a very like fast-paced, fun series. I think I read the first one in like 24 hours. A lot of the book girlies that I follow have been reading Frederick Bachman, and I'm not that familiar with his work. I do think Anxious People is probably his most popular book, especially because it's a Netflix show. I've never seen it, don't know what it's about. However, the way they talk about his books really have me very intrigued. However, I feel like the way they've talked about Beartown, we're saying it's like life-changing, so I'm gonna check it out, see what it's about, and I might end up getting this one too. Another book I'm really intrigued by, but I think my basket is full, is this one, A Little Life. I'd never heard of it, and then I'm not able to download TikTok right now, so I don't have it, but before that situation, I like started to get a ton of videos specifically about this book and like seeing people react to like the ending, and I was like, what is this book? But yeah, everyone said it completely wrecked them, so this is on my list, but I don't know if I'm ready for it yet. I got some good stuff. I got some good stuff.
I believe it.
Let's do a little book haul, shall we? It is the next morning. I just did my skincare, so I'm looking like a little greasy gal, but I'm so excited to show you all the books that I got. I think I ended up getting 8 books, which, trust me, I could have gotten a lot more. And yeah, we had the Christmas money we'd been saving, so it was so much fun to finally go back to the bookstore. And there were truly so many books that are like on my list that I was tempted to buy, but I focused more on like some of the newer releases that I've been really excited about, and then a few others that I just feel like I keep hearing everyone talk about. And specifically with a few of them, they're really not within my normal genre of books that I read. I'm really like a thriller and rom-com kind of girl, but last year my 2 favorite books were books that were so unexpected for me. I read The Stationery Shop, which is historical fiction, and it was my first historical fiction in so long, and I absolutely loved it. And then The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I'm not quite sure what the genre of that would be. Maybe like fantasy, some type, like a little bit of fantasy. So yeah, probably definitely leaning more towards fantasy than just fiction. But yeah, both of those books were 6-star reads for me, and just kind of made me realize that maybe I have written off a lot of books because I won't like them, and maybe that's not true. Like, my taste can change. So I've got a few different ones, but I'm going to keep this quick, and definitely let me know if you liked this vlog. I feel like it's a little bit of a different style for me, but I love watching videos like this. I love watching people go book shopping. So definitely let me know below if you enjoyed this and would like to see more videos like this. But let's get into the books that I got. So I chatted with y'all about the Frederick Bachman book as I was getting it. I ended up getting Beartown, which, just a little bit of the plot, it's about a tiny town in Alaska called Beartown. There's not much going for them, and then I think they end up in like the hockey national championships, like this high school team. And yeah, that's kind of like the short premise of it. And then I think something really devastating happens within the community, and it's just the story of how they all respond to that tragedy. So I'm really excited. I feel like everyone sobs when they read this book, so I need to be mentally ready whenever I read it. And then next up, the sci-fi book. I really am so curious to see whether or not I like this. Like I mentioned last night, literally the last science fiction book I read was Ender's Game in middle school when we read it at school, and I hated it. And ever since then, I've been like, no science fiction. So very curious to see if I like this. It reminds me of, at least the cover reminds me of whatever that movie was, I think with Sandra Bullock. And I really liked that movie, that space movie. I literally have no idea what it's called, but kind of reminds me of that. So very curious about that as well. And then my first Kristen Hanna. Kristen Hanna is one of those authors who I just like wrote off and was like, oh, well, she's probably not for me because I don't like historical fiction. And then when I realized that was not true last year, I've been like, I really need to read Kristen Hanna. And I was talking to my mom about it, and she was saying how The Nightingale is her favorite book by Kristen Hanna, and she hasn't like loved any of her other ones. So I wanted to start with The Nightingale, but if there are any other by Kristen Hanna that you think I should read, let me know, because I feel like I've also heard a lot about The Great Alone, and then obviously The Women, which I think came out last year, everyone was talking about. But yeah, starting with The Nightingale, and then Dom and I are also going to Paris this summer, so I was like, this will be a fun one whenever I read it. I love reading books like set in the place that we're traveling to, so this will be a fun one for that. I don't know if I'll wait till close to the summer or go ahead and read it. And I also know that Dakota and Elle Fanning are starring in the movie, so I always try and read the book before like a movie or a TV show comes out as well. All right, we are gonna fly through these next ones. Y'all saw me be so excited about the Muse. I'm so excited about this one. I just love the Muses. They're some of my favorite characters. Also Beg, Borrow, or Steal, Sarah Adams' latest book. Love her. They're just such like clean, fun, light romances, and I really like that. I feel like they're just really like enjoyable and calming to read, and I absolutely love the characters that she writes. I feel like they're really relatable, so love them. And then the next one is Apprentice to the Villain. I feel like I'm reading a lot of series right now, and I didn't really realize that, but I read Assistant to the Villain at the beginning of this year and just thought it was so delightful. It was so like unexpectedly fun to read, and so I'm really excited about this. I feel like I've seen a ton of people read the first one and not this one, so I'm excited to see what I think of this one. And then last but not least, I actually forgot that this was coming out because I have read her last two releases. They always come out in January, but it is Yin Yang Love Song. I don't think it's the same characters as her other two. Like, I don't think it's a series or anything like that, but absolutely have loved her past two books. So if you have not read them, I think it's like, I know Lunar Love is the name of one of them, and then I cannot remember the name of the other one. I just keep thinking of this title. So yeah, I was so excited to see this one. That was such a pleasant surprise. So yeah, those are all of the books that I got, just a few, but I've talked about this before. I love reading books. I also love just collecting books. Obviously the goal is to like read all of the books that I own. I definitely have some that I haven't gotten to, but for the most part, I read most of the books that I buy. We've got a bookshelf, we're moving, and I'm excited to finally have like a bigger bookshelf situation, so that's gonna be so much fun. So yeah, I love reading them, I love owning them, I love giving them to other friends to borrow when I have a book that I love. So yeah, I'm really happy that we could go and get all those books. It's just such a fun, like, relaxing activity for both of us. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up this vlog here. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, let me know if you enjoyed like the style of this, like the more kind of cozy, chatty vibes. Y'all know I love to chat, but I really loved filming that video. I was a little uncomfortable at times because there were people nearby, but we can get over that. So definitely let me know what you thought, and if you have any opinions on what book I should read first out of all of these, let me know, because I'm getting close to finishing my book that I'm currently reading. I didn't finish it last night because we got home so late, but I am hoping to finish it today. So I'm gonna need a recommendation on which one of these to pick first. So let me know, and just thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.